Right now, something is touching almost every inch of your skin. You probably haven't noticed it in minutes, maybe hours. It's your clothing, and you've stopped feeling it entirely. But there was a moment in human history when no one wore anything at all. So when did that change, and why? For most of our species' existence, humans had no clothes, none, just skin, built for a warm African climate, thin-haired and sweat-cooled. That worked fine for a while. Then the world got colder, and staying that way stopped being optional. Here's where it gets interesting, because scientists didn't figure this out by finding ancient fabric. Cloth rots. It vanishes from the archaeological record almost completely. So how do you date something that left no physical trace? The answer came from an unlikely source: lice. The geneticist Mark Stoneking, working with researcher Ralf Kittler, studied the DNA of human body lice, the kind that live in clothing, not hair. Body lice couldn't have existed before there was clothing to live in. By measuring how long ago body lice genetically diverged from head lice, they estimated when humans started covering their skin. Their research pointed to roughly 170,000 years ago. Isn't it strange that an insect might be one of the clearest records we have of a habit that changed human history? That timing isn't random either. It lines up closely with a brutal stretch of Ice Age cooling. The archaeologist Ian Gilligan has argued that clothing wasn't invented for modesty, and it wasn't invented for decoration. It was invented for one blunt reason: survival. Cold kills. A human body loses heat fast without insulation, and in glacial temperatures, that loss is lethal within hours. Clothing was a technology, as essential as fire, built to solve a problem that had nothing to do with appearance. Doesn't that change how you picture it? Not a fashion choice, a survival tool as vital as a spear or a flint blade. At first, this clothing was almost certainly crude. Animal hides, wrapped and tied, held together with sinew or plant fiber. No sewing yet, no fitted shapes, just enough coverage to trap body heat against a merciless wind. But crude doesn't mean primitive in the way you might expect. Even early wrapped hides required planning. Someone had to hunt the animal, someone had to process the skin, someone had to figure out how to keep it wrapped tightly enough to matter. Then, tens of thousands of years later, something shifted again. The archaeologist Olga Soffer studied clay fragments from Upper Paleolithic sites in what is now the Czech Republic, sites roughly 27,000 years old. Pressed into the fired clay were faint impressions, accidental fossils left by contact with something soft, woven textiles, actual cloth made from twisted plant fibers, long before anyone assumed weaving existed. That single discovery rewrote the timeline. It meant humans weren't just wrapping themselves in hides anymore. They were spinning fiber and weaving it into cloth, using techniques that wouldn't look completely out of place in a modern textile workshop. Isn't it remarkable that people living during an ice age were already inventing something structurally similar to fabric you might be wearing right now? Clothing didn't stay purely functional for long either. Once humans had it, they used it to say things. Certain furs marked a skilled hunter. Certain patterns marked a specific group, a specific family, a specific place someone belonged. What started as pure insulation slowly became identity, stitched directly onto the body. So the next time you get dressed, without thinking, without even really looking, remember what's actually happening. You're repeating an act your ancestors performed against glaciers and freezing wind, refined slowly over 170,000 years, from rawhide to woven thread to whatever's hanging in your closet right now. The insulation kept them alive. The identity came later, and the habit never left. Something is touching almost every inch of your skin right now. This time, maybe you'll actually notice it.